everybody, and welcome to Shooting with Yankee. As usual, I'm Yankee, so let's start shooting. Today's topic is one that I think a lot of people should have opinions on. It's red flag laws. Are red flag laws good in any way, or are they just all bad? Now, I'm not going to sit here and say a red flag law could never save life. Of course it could. So could a family member just going over to someone's home and taking the gun away from them. We had to do that with a member of my family who started thinking the mailman was an intruder, was trying to take pot shots at him. We went over, we intervened because we're family and that's our job. But, in some cases, if there's no family involved, well, yeah, people could say, if a neighbor could call and say, hey, this guy's dangerous, he's got a gun, the police need to go over and for his own benefit, take his guns away. Could you save lives that way? Well, yeah, you could save the life of the person, maybe. Maybe they were depressed, they were going to commit suicide. And maybe under a rare circumstance, there's a 1 in a million chance that person would have actually hurt somebody else with that gun. And you might have stopped that. But here's the other thing. This law definitely can cost lives. People seem to forget about that. They seem to forget that when people are depressed, possibly going to commit suicide, which is what these laws are supposed to be designed to prevent, you might push them over the edge into suicide, because now not only are they depressed, but they're being treated like a criminal, coming and having their rights taken away, their property seized. You can push them over the edge. And don't be like, well, they can't commit suicide now, they don't have a gun. Well, we are not number one in suicide. There's tons of countries above us. I think we're like 30th in suicide among developed countries. And most of those countries don't have access to guns, period. And yet they still manage to kill themselves. South Korea, Russia, places like that are way above us. Where's Japan at in relation to us? I don't know. Ukraine's higher than us. Ivory Coast, Tonga, places like Somalia, Samoa, of course. But there's all kinds of places in the world where people commit suicide at a much higher rate than they do here in this country. And they don't have guns. So guns aren't the end-all be-all of self-ending. So, in fact, when it comes to self-ending, which is what they promote these as, you're just as likely to push someone to that who wouldn't have done that than you are to prevent it by coming and taking someone's gun. Heaven forbid we do the right thing and actually give proper mental health care, treat people who have mental illness like they actually have an illness, not like they're weak or they're damaged. If we start doing things like that, we could solve a lot more problems than things like red flag laws ever would. And as far as if you're going to try to make the argument that, oh, there's too many soft targets out there to let bad people have guns or depressed people have guns, well, secure the soft targets. Because those depressed people you're trying to take the gun from, well, they're not as likely to go out and do something bad as just someone who's got an agenda. And you're not even going to know that person has an agenda. So you're not saving anybody's lives with red flag laws. Plus, they're so easily manipulated by people who just want to mess with you, by the government, etc. If the government can identify the people that are the enemies beforehand, before anything major ever happens, well, looky there. They can go disarm you saying, oh, we got red flag complaints. We got to disarm these people before anything ever happens. They can defeat a resistance before there's a shot ever fired. Also, exes can misuse this. We just talked about a woman who was facing federal charges or state charges over possession of a firearm without a FOID card because her ex-husband called in and lied, saying she fired the gun at him inside the house, and they went over there. Not only was there no evidence that she had ever fired the gun, there was no evidence he'd been in the house. So he just used the red flag law against her to get her charged with another crime. So these are too easily used by unscrupulous people and an unscrupulous government. They don't save any lives. They could actually push people to commit suicide because of the way they treat the individual themselves. Because when you're like, well, everything's bad, well, now it's worse. That's just not a good thing. Speaking as a mental health professional, ex-mental health professional, it's just not a good tactic to take. And like I said, if you want to intervene with people who are at risk of self-harm, do it the right way. Don't treat them like they're damaged property. Treat them like they've got an issue, a medical issue, a mental health issue. But I know that's not profitable and it's not exploitable by the government, so it's not popular. But that's why red flag laws exist. Make no bones about it. It has nothing to do with protecting people from suicide. It does not in any way protect innocent people. And all it does is allow the government to decide to take someone's rights away without due process by pretending that they're doing the right thing. And with now that I've said that, let's see. Do people agree with me? Do they disagree with me? What's going on over here? Edgar Cortez says this is a prime example of the adage that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. There is too much opportunity for abuse and usurpation of a person's Second Amendment rights. I agree 100%. Only thing I disagree with a little bit of what you said is that they're actually good intentions. The people who write these bills, I don't think they have good intentions. I think they know exactly what they're writing. Because all they'd have to do is talk to any responsible mental health person, and they'd be like, yeah, if you're worried about someone being a suicide risk, doing this is not a good step to take. They already feel like an outcast. They already feel like they're put upon. They already feel like everything's against them, and then you're just proving them right. So if that's your motivation, then you're misguided. But like I said, they do count on the good intentions of people that are just on the outside listening, thinking like, oh yeah, suicide rates are way too high in this country, even though we're not the highest. It's still way too high for a country like ours. And we got to do something about it. We're helping the veterans, that kind of thing. Those people have good intentions, but the people who write these laws, they have no good intentions. Coral, haven't seen Coral in a while. Red flag laws based on human behavior will always be wrong, flawed, especially when no crime was committed. An exception would be make it a crime to be human. Well, a lot of places are already kind of making it a crime to be a free human being. As long as you're a subjugated human, that's okay. You just can't be a free one. John M. Mandrake chimed in and said, if there is enough evidence to remove guns, there should be enough evidence to 48 or 72-hour hold someone. Yes, that's what 72-hour holds are for. That's why they're there. So you can actually determine if someone's a risk. And you shouldn't be able to seize any property during that time, anything like that. They haven't committed any crimes. If there's enough evidence to say that person doesn't deserve their Second Amendment rights, or that person's a risk to themselves and others, 72-hour hold. And in that, during that 72-hour hold, instead of just locking them, a lot of times, unfortunately, having worked in the system, these people just get stuck in a rehab center somewhere, a wing of a hospital where they're keeping people that are recovering drug addicts, etc. Hold them for 72 hours, and they often never receive any true care while they're there, or actual competent evaluation. Let's start doing that. Let's start doing the 72-hour holds. Let's start doing competent evaluations. Let's make sure people know you're here to be helped, not to be punished. What do you need? We need more of that. Mike White said, at first, I thought red flag laws would be good as they sound admirable, but in reality, they are just another way to take your firearms. Exactly. They don't help anybody. In fact, a lot of times these type of laws make it to where you can get away with not doing what you should do. Instead of, making soft targets secure, we take away people's guns. Instead of helping people with mental illness, which is not profitable, it costs money, we'll just take their gun away. And then if they kill themselves, we can say, well, we did what we could. We took their gun away. It prevents people from doing the right thing because they do the wrong thing and say it's just as good. Chunky D 77 said, Japan's third in suicide. Red flags should be banned. Yes, red flag laws are a clear violation of your due process rights. They should definitely be illegal in this country. Some states shouldn't be able to say that, hey, all those rights you have in the Constitution to right to privacy, right to due process, etc. Well, we can suspend them if guns are involved, and we don't think you should have them. How un-American is that? How dangerous is that? Dale Rickety, red flag laws are no good, period. That is all. I agree. 100%. If people want to exit, I've seen them jump off radio towers, jump off bridges, step in front of trains, just ends to a means. Yeah, guns are just, the only reason guns are so prevalent in suicides in this country is because guns are prevalent in our society. If guns disappeared tomorrow, it would have little to no effect on suicides because people would still find a way. And it's not hard to find a way to do it. Drive your car off a cliff. We've seen people try to kill themselves and their whole families doing stuff like that. So Maybe they'll become, well, I'm going to go and I'm going to take people with me. I'm going to go be a suicide bomber tomorrow. They'll figure out a way. It's not hard. Guns are just the most common tool. Slitting your wrists is not hard. It doesn't take a lot of forethought or a lot of practice. So guns are just the prevalent tool in this country. So therefore, they're the prevalent thing when it comes to suicides. If you look at a country that has a high suicide rate but doesn't have guns available, they've still managed to find a way. So look at what's most prevalent in their country. If it's poisoning in their country, what, do you outlaw anything that could be poison? Is that how you deal with that law? Or do you help people that are actually suffering in some way that they would actually take their own life? Coral weighed in again, said, I agree with you 100%. I said, I knew there was a reason I liked him. He's smart. He agrees with me. Dale Rickety said, any running car with a hose is a suicide machine. Absolutely right. Carbon monoxide. Hell, a lot of people die from that every year without actually meaning to. So if you were definitely trying, it ain't hard. And I think if I was going to do it, I'd much rather do it that way. I'd much rather just get sleepy than I would actually take the risk of having to try to shoot myself. I don't want to do that. I take great care and effort to make sure I don't shoot myself every day. So I don't want to do it on purpose. It just seems like there's too many chances to mess up in too many ways. I've seen too many people mess it up and live a vegetable the rest of their life. I don't want to do that. But as I was saying, it looks like most people in here are not fooled. They know red flag laws are just a tool of the government to disarm the people. They are in no way the proper way to treat someone who's depressed. They are in no way a prevention of suicide, and they are in no way a prevention of keeping people from harming innocent people. In fact, they're all the opposite of that, pretty much in every way. So looks like I was right again. Yay for me. And it looks like my viewers are very smart. How about you? Do you agree? If you do, let me know in the comment section below. If you don't, let me know in the comment section below, or maybe come to a live chat. Let me know in person that you disagree with me. If you want to weigh in on this topic or any topic, like I said, come to one of our live chats. We do them every night, 6 p.m., except for Wednesdays when they're at 7 p.m. Hope to see you at one. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again.